You're listening to the Daily Mishnah Podcast with Benedict.
We're closing off Bava Kama. We're very close to the end of the tractate, and we're into questions of differential information. And we'll see, by the way, that these issues go right the way through to the beginning of Bava Metzia. So we're going to begin Bava Metzia with interpersonal disputes, and we don't really know what happened. And we'll see at the end of Bava Kama that we're into the same types of lack of knowledge. And of course, at one point, these two tractates, Bava Kama and Bava Metzia, they were one. In fact, Bava Metzia, Bava Kama and Bava Batra, the three tractates, they were all one tractate. So it's not surprising that the subject matter drifts gently from one to the other. And in the seventh Mishnah, we're going to pick up Ha'omer lachavero gzalticha. Someone said to his fellow, I robbed you. By the way, the Gemara assumes that his fellow has made a claim. In other words, there's a claim of robbery here, and he admits it. He admits, I robbed you. And let me just try to find the page again on screen. He admits, I robbed you. And or vehiviltani, he says, you lent me something. Or he says, hifkataitzli, you deposited something with me. So in other words, he admits the claim. And we've already said, by the way, that the halakha equates these three categories: robbery, return of something that's lent, the return of something that's been placed in trust. They're all in the same bracket from a halachic point of view. So he admits a claim is made, and he admits the claim. And then he says, Ve'eini yodea im hechzarti lach. I don't know whether I returned it or not. So in other words, he admits the claim, but he's uncertain as to whether the object is still due or the debt is still due back. And the principle we're going to follow here is that he has to pay. Chayav l'shalem. He's got to pay. And in general, we have a principle that if he admits part of a claim, then there's already a strong supposition that kind of the rest of if you like, where there's smoke, there's fire. The rest of the claim has got some justification. And it works the other way round too. If he says, oh yeah, I don't know whether I robbed from you. And the Gemara presumes, by the way, a mirror image here, that the person on the other side hasn't made a certain claim. I don't remember whether I robbed from you. I don't remember whether you lent to me. I don't remember whether you deposited something with me. Patur mi l'shalem. He's actually exempt from paying. And the Gemara will come on at this point and say, actually, if there was a certain claim, then he has to take an oath. It's not sufficient for him just to say, oh, yes, I don't remember. He has to take an oath at this point. Because when there's differential information, we are going to try to fill it in. And in the next Mishnah, we'll see that we actually try to fill in the information by measuring, by counting. Hagonev telamina edav behechziro. Someone stole a lamb from the flock and restored it. So he's actually put it back. Mate or nignav, but it died or it was stolen again. Chayav achrayuto. He's responsible for it. Now we've already learnt the halacha that when the thief takes something, the thief is actually takes possession of that object. Same with someone who puts on a deposit, who takes a deposit or takes a loan. The three are absolutely parallel. It's much easier for us to see the analogy if he's taken an object into custody or taken a loan. He's responsible for what goes on with it. And that is why he's obligated if it's stolen or if it dies after he takes it. He has to restore a live sheep. If the owner didn't know that it was stolen and it was returned. So now we're getting into differential information. So something has happened and the owner doesn't know about it. And of course, the owner hasn't despaired of losing his sheep. Umanu menatzon. And he counted. Min is really interesting word here. Most Mishnah texts have et. He counted the sheep. Maybe he counted the number of sheep. Maybe this is men from Mana. He counted the number of sheep. The Hishlema. And the number of sheep is okay. It's the sheep he's got the right number of sheep. Tur mishalem. The thief is exempt. And the Gemara really puzzles on this. Rav takes the view that effectively ownership knowledge is crucial. And given that the owner doesn't know what's gone on and he has the right number of sheep, then the thief at this point is not required to pay. But that there might be other ways of reading this Mishnah, and maybe we'll come back to the subject. We'll come back to the subject on another day.
Thank you for listening to this edition of the Daily Mishnah Podcast with Benedict.